So that cool produce stand that's underneath the flyover on your way on to Hilton Head Island, Carolina Seafood, Judge tells that guy he's got to find another spot. The national numbers are out on new construction and it's dipped a little bit. And a couple big companies like Peloton and Apple, they tell their employees to get their butts back to work after Labor Day. This week, Market Monday. Michelle, how's it going?
Good morning, Dan. Going great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
What should we make of these numbers for Hilton Head this week?
With the average selling price being up 20%, we just know that all properties are gaining equity day by day.
Inventory's down, sales are down, whether it's because inventory's down or because less people are buying or interest rates are up. I think it's a combination of everything, but prices keep going up.
The buyers are here. The demand is here. But what I'm seeing is they're taking a pause. They're not jumping in feet first.
You saying that they're not being irrational?
They're not. They are not.
That's got to be bad.
No, they are not. They are taking their time discovering the island. We're introducing them to all the communities, the different personalities, and they're taking a pause and waiting to see what happens.
Well, I mean, we're seeing our team is making lots of sales, so from our perspective, all is good.
All is good.
So the produce stand. We call it a produce stand, but it's what is it called? Carolina Seafood. What's going on there?
Well, Mr. Campbell put that stand in that location in 1980, and he had a lease up until the beginning of 2020 in that location. However, laws were enacted that changed the status of that property.
Yeah, a lot of it surrounding the flyover.
And close to a residential area, and the land was deemed a not-for-profit property.
Yep.
So unfortunately, Mr. Campbell has been forced to move his produce stand that's been a landmark there for so many years.
Yeah.
I've been visiting that stand for the past 37 years. So he's had an outpour of community support. Everybody is inquiring, where are you going, Mr. Campbell? We will be there to support you. So we're wishing him the best.
Yeah, I hope he finds another spot kind of at the gateway to the island.
I sure do
that
too.
Location, being on that side of 278, that's kind of an important location. If he was just to move to the other side, it wouldn't be as convenient for people stopping on their way to the island.
And many tourists always say that's their first stop, is they're coming on the island to get that produce and seafood.
There was an article in Forbes a day or two ago. Housing market faces growing risk of multi-year collapse as new home construction craters. Collapse and crater. Good words, right? Just not indicative of what I'm seeing.
We're not seeing that here.
Yeah, the article goes on to say that, it's talking about new construction. Building permits were above what the expectations at 1.7, and they fell by 1.3% from 1.8 in April. So they went from 1.8 to 1.7.
Which means they're probably just normalizing.
Yeah, that's one thing that this article doesn't talk about is before everything boomed, what was the number?
Exactly.
Right? Was it 1.5? Was it 1.1? I mean, going from 1.8 million to 1.7 doesn't sound like a collapse to me.
No, I don't think so.
So one thing that was interested in there, they talked about a bright spot where permits for multifamily rose. Why do you think that is, Michelle? Why do you think multifamily is getting all the love from the builders right now?
Well, I believe those would-be buyers that have been forced to sideline because of the increase in mortgage rates. This is a new avenue for affordability for those buyers.
Yeah, so those multifamily tend to end up being rental properties, right? And
correct.
So the builders are probably seeing a higher demand in that market where people are saying, until interest rates come back down, they're on the sideline just because of affordability as buyers. Yeah,
That's what I would guess.
Man, that article in Fortune about people going back to work, kind of being forced back to work.
Oh boy.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
Workers have enjoyed this flexibility. I mean, how great is it to work from home and during your lunch, you take your dog out for a walk.
Yeah.
In the case here, you run to the beach for lunch, and there's a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
They feel like they're being productive at home, working at home, that they don't need to be in the office, but of course, there are many corporate leaders that are saying, no, we need you in the office.
The corporate leaders are probably looking at the numbers, I would guess, right?
Oh, I would guess.
I mean, there's been comments that, you could be the best employee and work at home, but collaboration suffers, the opportunity to mentor suffers, all of those kind of things. And my take has been, I think companies, even if the companies see a decrease in output employee by employee, that affects their revenue. But if they're looking at their top line numbers and they're spending much less money on real estate via rent and having office space, at some point they're like, we're trading dollar for dollar, no big deal if they're less productive. But maybe it's reached a tipping point.
I believe it has. And those workers who don't want to go back to that traditional Monday through Friday schedule, that's how they were hired to do.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking elsewhere, which
that would concern me, right? like right now, unemployment is so low that if a company, like they talk about Peloton and Apple saying after Labor Day you've got to come back to work, if those workers, flip them the bird and say we're not coming back, we're going to work somewhere else. Right now there's no doubt in this job market, they have plenty of places that they can go and be hired. Everything that we talk about when we turn on the news is the economy is in a recession, and that doesn't mean that 6 months from now those jobs are still going to be there. So they might have been at Peloton for 5 years or 10 years and have some seniority there, and they're going to go to a new company and be there a couple weeks. And if next quarter the numbers are no good, who's getting axed?
Yeah, it's definitely a big risk.
Mailbag?
Mailbag.
All right. Lydia asks, I've been priced out of moving to the island. Is there any neighborhoods or communities you suggest if I still want to be close to the island? Well, being close to the island, that's a good thing. The island is just such a spectacular place, continues to win awards and awards and awards. And there's some pretty good places to live on the mainland, isn't there?
Oh my goodness. Lydia, there are tons of communities within a short driving distance to Hilton Head Island. I would love to give you a call and let's talk about it.
Thanks for stopping by, Michelle.
Well, thanks for having me,
Thanks for giving us your insight on these, and call her. She's really bright. And come in and do this again.
I'd love to. Thank you very much.